Comparison is the thief of presence because while we are busy measuring ourselves against others, we miss the miracle of our own path unfolding. The truth is, we were never behind, we were becoming. Welcome to Energetics with Kim and Veronica, where we invite you to nourish the energy of your inner why, your inner healing, magic, prosperity, your curiosity, clarity, playfulness. Welcome home. We are joined today by our guest, Sana Wadiwala, the author of Expectation versus Acceptance. Welcome, Sana. We are so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And I, of course, am here joined by my beautiful partner, Kim, as well. Hi, Kim.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Miss Sana.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Veronica. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
We're so excited. This is going to be a really beautiful and exciting conversation. And Sana, I first just want to take a moment to congratulate you. This is such a beautiful accomplishment. I just finished the book and it's truly like you're a friend of mine. And so I would not say this just because you're a friend. It really is a very beautifully written book. I was like looking for quotes and there were so many quotes that I could pull from. The wisdom of the book is so beautiful. And your story, of course, I know a lot of it being a friend of yours. You have a really interesting story and the wisdom that you've extracted from your life. And the beautiful way that you've articulated in the book. I just really, really hope that you're honoring and celebrating this moment because it's an achievement. So congratulations and thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Yes, it was, I am still celebrating. I'm still in the mode of like self-celebrating. This is not something like I want to like really give credit to myself. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this moment and I'm like, okay, I just did it. So I was happy.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I
Kim, you've
love
got a
you.
question.
Yeah, and Sana, I love that you're self-celebrating. Oh my God. Like, that's for me, self-celebrating is also acknowledging our self-mastery.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful when we can be that and do that. And guess what? I did something that's awesome. And I do lots of things that awesome. Otherwise, if we don't, for me, I'm aware that if we don't recognize our gifts and our accomplishments, it's almost like the universe gets bored with us or something. So it's really empowering. So I love that you said that. And oh my God, Miss Sana. Listen, show us your book. Show us your book. I
Yeah,
want to see
I
your book.
actually did have a copy. Here you go.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
So I'll talk about a little bit more on the designing part as well. The fact that it says expectations versus acceptance. It's about what we want and what we have, and everything in between is
Right.
reality. And this is our journey of reality. So it's like a small little paper plane, which is like a reality, and it's just story after story. So
I
yeah.
love it. Thank you. So one of the things that I'm super curious about, and you know, for me, like when I was like 16, for example, I'm 65 now. When I was
Well, you don't
16,
look 65.
thank you. That's why I love saying it so I can hear that from people. Thank you. So one of the things for me is like when I was 16, people were saying, "Oh my God, you've had so many experiences that are so not normal. When are you going to
Mhm.
write a book?" I never did. And for me, when I was 16, I did have so many unusual experiences, like human messiness kind of experiences that my response back then was I wouldn't know where to start. And so now I'm 65 and I'm like, darn, I wish I had written that book when I was 16. And I didn't know where to start and I didn't write the book. And so now I also have, a consciousness experience on top of the human experience. And I know so many people that say the same thing. They don't know where to start. So what was that like for you? And like, how did you know where to start? And like, what was that? I don't even know what the question is around that other than I didn't know where to start. So many people don't know
Right.
where to start. You did it.
I think
Congratulations.
Kim, it's thank you. I think I I I was exactly in the same boat as you ladies would be like, okay, I have so much experience and where do I start? And I am somebody from a very young age, I used to write emails to myself, like as a child, like when the internet was just born, I used to write emotions and emails to myself. And then my twin sister would also do the same thing. And then it came to a point where life was like, it's all about like, we always pen down how we're feeling right now. So if we felt little low or high, later on, we could revisit our emotions, how we felt at 16. We would revisit our emotions when we were 20. It's like, oh, we've had hard times in past. This is nothing. And then that's when I had started to write. And I've always believed in journaling. And I always would, whenever I would talk to somebody, I would share a experience or two. And they would be like, oh, that's so wise. That's so like, oh my God, like I should think in this way. And I'm like, yeah. And my all my like intentions of writing was like I need to write a book because people who have now met me, I want them to revisit that there's a lot of bad things or like wrong things happen to everyone, like, and especially when I told my experience to people, they were like, oh, this happened to you and this happened. And like life happens to everyone, no matter you're pretty, you have, if you have like difficult body, or you have rich, you are like, I have rich, super rich friends who have really hard time. And then people were like, you're so rich, you cannot have problem. No, everybody has problem, everybody has life, everybody goes through a lot of things. And so my idea was like, I want to put it out there that we all are in the same boat. It's just like time and hard times happen to every single person. It's not me. And I wanted to put out there so that people could resonate and like look back and like read and have an experience. And we're not alone in this world. So my whole writing started with a lot more years of journaling. And then I was like, I'm going to put it down together. I'm just going to compile all my experiences of journaling into one book, and I'm going to put it out there for everyone.
Okay, so would you say that you were like you basically were journaling about your life? And I haven't read the book. I'm inspired to now for sure. And so for you, you would, am I hearing it that you just started journaling as part of your experience and your journey, and then you're like, hey, I'm just gonna share my actual what I've actually already written and share that with the world. Is that how it was for you?
That's exactly how it went. I was like, I've been
Oh, cool.
journaling for like ever. And I'm like, now it's time to put everything together and put it out there for the world.
Excellent.
One of the things that I love about it is you kept it really simple, right? Like it's not like long drawn out stories or long drawn out like explanations of your wisdom. It's really like you have several chapters. They're short, they're sweet, they're to the point, but yet they're beautiful. And they
Yeah.
all tie back to your personal experiences. So the fact that you could take that many years of journaling and extract it down to this simplicity is really, it's an achievement. And it makes it for a really, really nice read.
Yeah, yeah. I
So well
wanted to keep
done.
it like short and simple because
Mm-hmm.
looking out for generation, people are direct. People are short and simple, and like the life is very like people want to go through books and reels and like music. Everything is going fast in this life. So I was like, I want to keep it like quick and simple.
That's
Though I
awesome.
did write a lot, like a lot, to compile it in 40 pages.
It's
Um,
amazing.
It's a 40-page book.
yeah, it's a
Oh, I
40-page
love
book.
that.
It's a
I
short book.
love
I
that.
I compressed my life.
I love that.
That's really,
Yeah.
really well done. Yeah. So everyone loves a good story. And so I thought, Sana, maybe we could talk about, the key pivotal moments in your life that you speak of in your book. Obviously, there's a lot of points in your life. There's a lot of stories in your life that have brought together this wisdom. I
Yeah.
see, both from knowing you as a friend and also from reading the book, I see kind of four main stories, if you will, that
Yeah.
have led you to where you are, that have created those kind of forks in the road, that have redirected your life. And carved you into the woman that you've become. So early on, Sana has an identical twin sister. And when you first meet them, like they're so identical, you don't know who you're talking to. My
Yeah.
my daughter calls Sana's sister Sana all the time. I'm like, no, this is not Sana. So and so it's interesting. That's unique in and of itself. But in addition to that, you grew up in India, and you, based on your family dynamic, the two of you really had to step in as the leaders in your family life. So that was really big at a young age. The second, key, I guess, story in your life would be the passing of your brother. And, obviously such a deep love that you and your sister had for him. And so that was a very early and very deep loss that you experienced that was tough to navigate, but again, also carved you into this beautiful woman that you are and extracted so much wisdom. Then, something that might seem a little bit more simple, but is equally tough is the immigration process that you went through here in Canada, which can
Mhm.
be really, really tough. I know I've been through it in a prior relationship, and it's very hard to go through that waiting period and have so much uncertainty for so long. And then,
Yeah.
your most recent one is, your recent heartbreak through the ending of a
Yeah.
relationship. So I was just wondering if you would be willing to just maybe choose one of those and just kind of walk us through the story of what that was for you, and again tie it back to like what was your initial expectation in life, and how did that situation or that story then redirect you into your journey of acceptance.
Yeah, I think the most important and the most significant event in our life is for me to lose my brother. And that has completely changed the whole prerogative of our life, and in a good way, in a nice way, because I always say there's always learning in everything that goes happens in your life. So as I said, like him passing away, he was 21 years old. We were 27, and we were like babies. Our expectation from life was like, oh, we're going to be one happy family, and our dreams were good together. We envisioned traveling together. We just expected like life will happen to all of us together. And well, nobody in your dreams actually think of losing your loved one in the younger age, especially in young age, you do not. Now that I am 38 and I have older parents, death is around and things happen and people are sick. That's a different thing. But when you are in younger age,
Hmm.
that does not arise your horizon. It's nothing. It's not in your presence. So it was very interesting. It got to us with the big surprise, and then we had to accept it. It was hard, I would say, because that this is something that we did not expect at all to happen in that age. And as we got along, it was a journey to accept that he's gone. There was moments when we thought that he would actually come back, which is such a, if you see it in a way that we are optimistic people who believes that that will come back, and denying the reality. So we had to accept the reality that he was gone, accept the fact that this is the new life. It's four of us and he's no more there. So that was the biggest challenge in our life, to accept it. And once we accepted that, it made us a person that we are. We do not get shaken up with anything that happens around us. We're like, okay, life will happen. We will move on. Yeah, this happened and that happened. And so him going away has taught us that anything can go. Your job can go, your boyfriend can go, your husband can go, your mom can go, your sister can go, and everybody goes. And he taught us that nothing changes our life. We all have to stand straight. We all have to stand our ground strong and move forward. You cannot fall down. And the fact that we did not fall when he left us made us realize that what a strength we have. Like we were like, wow, we are surprised. It's so surprising that because to be very honest, there was a moment where we thought that at least when my brother passed away, we were like, oh, I was telling my mom that I think he's never had a night without us. He's always slept in our bed. So I'm like, how is he going to sleep alone? Like, if when he
Hmm.
goes away, like at least one of us will die. Like we will have like an accident death, not like we will commit suicide. And it was very painful. Now saying this, it sounds very light, but it was very painful moment. And we were like, no, we have to be with him. We were innocent kids who were like, no, we want to be with our brother. And but it did not. And I remember sitting with my sister and I said, well, we didn't die. And she's like, yeah, well, guess we have to move on. That moving on was the key. We take it till date. We just like anything happens, anything wrong happens. My sister has lost a couple of jobs in her profile learning, and things were very hard. And we were like, okay, we're going to move on. It's fine. Life happens and we're going to move on. And I am as well in today's world, like I am heartbroken and I'm like, life happened. Move on. But we don't have to sit there and cry. We can sit there and cry for a certain amount of time, but we need to move on and accept it. The reality, accepting the reality is the key of happiness. Like just accept it. This is happening and move on. You know? Yeah.
I love that. And I also love the fact that you just acknowledged that, yeah, you had your feels about it, right? You had your feels about it. You didn't dismiss it and just move on. You had your feels about it, knowing you would move on. And so
Yeah.
there's such a difference there between dismissing and moving on and having your feels knowing you're going to move on. There's such a difference there for me. And so I love that. Thank you. Yeah, because we do have to have our feels, right?
Yeah, we need to let it out. We need to accept it. I'm vulnerable or I'm sad. We need to grieve. And once you're done, that's done.
Yeah.
And you just get on with life.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean you don't miss them, I'm sure, but you didn't stay stuck in the whole in the moment of what it was, because yeah, I can't even imagine. And so thank you for sharing that story. Can I ask how old you and your sister were?
We were 27. Yeah.
Wow.
And he was 21. It does look like it looks like a very mature age, but it wasn't. It was very hard.
Yeah.
We still felt like very young at that time.
Of course. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, again, and to what Kim said, I love how you brought out like there's the grieving, there's the emotion, and sometimes where we get stuck is when we're not willing to feel the emotion, when we
Yeah.
push it away, when we try to not be with it, like then that creates a loop that we don't get out of. So
Yeah.
just being with the emotion is so key, as painful as it is, and then getting to that point of acceptance, because again, that's another loop that can keep us stuck is when we're just fighting life and resisting it. And but when we can feel the emotions, when we can move into the acceptance, and the emotions might come back in waves and we
Yeah.
just feel them as they do, but we really ground ourselves in that acceptance, then there's a beauty on the other side
Yeah.
of the circumstance, of the emotion, of the acceptance
Mhm.
that we can tap into. And it's also what you talk about is who we become through that,
Yeah.
right? So through the grieving and then the acceptance, the person you become is that next iteration of you,
Yeah.
which is really why we're here.
Yeah, and you know what? As you're saying that, Veronica, what's showing up is like her and her sister from there, if I'm hearing it right, is you recognize that life happens and we can move on. So that
Yeah.
created such an incredible inner resilience for you both, where you got to recognize, like, that's a pretty young age, right? To recognize that, wow, you know
Mhm.
what, we can do this. Life goes on, and things happen, and it's in having the feels, having the acceptance, and knowing that we're going to be okay. That's huge for
Yeah.
people, because you know what, on that note, Veronica, that you were talking about, yeah, as being the willingness to be with our feels about it, because guess what, when we don't, that stuff hovers in our field. It doesn't go anywhere. It hovers. Right? It sits in our field as an unprocessed energy. And
Mhm.
so then we're dragging that baggage around with us, and it's heavy, and all the stuff, and then it doesn't take much to trigger that thing, right? Because it's still in our field. We didn't be with it. It's still there. And so, imagine if we went a lifetime without being with any of our stuff, how much stuff would be in our field. My God, would be, dragging around all that weight. And that's what it creates. And so, yeah, just wanted to share that moment because that's
I
the
totally
thought.
agree with you, Kim. I totally
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, yeah, that's it. You need to like clear it out.
Yeah.
And I love how you two, Sana, are seeing it as a blessing, right? Like you've gotten to a point where you are not only like, of course it's devastating, and of course if you could have him back, you would have him
Hmm.
back, but you're also seeing it as a blessing. And so you, like, I consider you to be at a very young age still compared to me, compared to Kim. But you've been through a lot of big things, as Kim has
Yeah.
in her life, right? And so it's helpful because when people
Hmm.
see that you have this wisdom and they say, yeah, but you don't get it, but you do. Like you've been through a lot. And so the fact that you've been able to go through all of that and navigate it and extract the wisdom and allow it to carve you and to see the blessing, it's really beautiful to watch. So honoring you again in that moment.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we need more success stories. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if it's the word success, but more empowering stories of where, yeah, life happened and I was able to be
Yeah.
with it and ooh la la, right? And so I love that you actually saw that moment and went, I'm gonna write a book and share this with the world. And I'm like, that is so amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I've had moments when I'm like, I really feel like I've part of me in this world has come to enlighten people. So I'm like, I need to complete my journey. I could sense it. I have friends, I have people around me. I'm here to, like, I learn from my sister, I learn from people like Veronica, and I meet people who are like very highly emotionally and spiritually alert about themselves, and I learn how to be that graceful person. But it's a circle of life. You need to give it back. You can't just hold the information and
Yeah,
learning of your life. You need to like give it back. So if this has happened, it's a learning. I definitely have to give it back to somebody. So I'm like, yeah, read my book.
cool.
Rock on, I love it. I'm gonna read a quote from your book, and I this is at the very end, but I chose it because I love the message, and I think it ties into the whole theme of the book, which is really
Mm,
the expectation versus acceptance, and it's a topic that Kim and I have been talking a lot about, over the last several months, both on the podcast and off the podcast, because we chat about
mhm.
things a lot off the podcast too, as we explore our lives together, and so this is the quote. Comparison is the thief of presence, because while we are busy measuring ourselves against others, we miss the miracle of our own path unfolding. The truth is, we were never behind, we were becoming. It's so rich the way you said it. It's so deep in just a few sentences how you've presented that. And I really would like to hear from you, like this, the beauty of this wisdom, like how, as a listener, as a listener, as someone who's listening to this, how could they take this code of wisdom and embody that in their lives? How can we go, like, we spend so much of our lives in comparison to what we thought our life should be, in comparison into what we see with others.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, but how do we truly
Yeah.
embody that?
I think I like comparison has always been like I have like I'll rephrase it. Like comparison has always got me into this pressure that was not needed. And I would tell my dad, who would always not pressure us, but like compare it, saying, "Oh, other people's daughter has got this car, and this is a fancy car." And as a child, I only heard myself saying, "But we don't need to compare it to anybody. Why? We have nice car. Like, why are we comparing? I'm so happy. I'm so happy." And they're like, "But we need to be better than others." And I'm like, but I'm not comparing myself to anybody. I want to be what I can achieve. And I'm very happy of what all I have achieved in life. Yeah. And I think comparison just takes the moment away from you. It's just, it's a hard point where you're like, I'm not happy because I don't have what you have, but I'm not taking the moment to enjoy what I have. I also have nice things, and I just want to take the moment of enjoying my things. And that's what people, when they're comparing, it's like they're taking their own moment, taking their own journey away from themselves. And that's a very, like, I've seen that around, and that is happening too often around our society, especially with social media. It's like, hey, I took a nice picture, and but you know what? The other person is posting really nice stuff, and she's going on travel, but you did too. You had a great family time. Did you forget that? You just didn't take a picture of it, but you enjoy too. And like the moment is gone because we are just so busy watching other people and comparing other people and giving them, judging them or judging yourself that you're not there.
So true. And I think, one of the things that Kim and I talk a lot about too, which you also mentioned, is that time component, right? It's like, oh, I'm 50. I should have done this by now. I should have achieved that by now. That person over there is in their 30s and they're doing it. And, it's such a spiral that can just suck you in. And I love how you called it a thief, right? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like even that, like creating a persona of the concept of comparison, for me, I'm very visual. So, and thinking about it is like, it's coming in to steal from me. It's coming in to steal from all of the beauty I can experience in my life, all the magic I can experience in my life, in the simple moments of what I do
Yeah.
have, what I have achieved, what I have accomplished, but also the beauty in what I'm living today,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh yeah, it's a thief that's just coming in. And so if you can kind of recognize it as that, because our mind almost thinks like, or at least this has been in my experience, my mind almost thinks like it's keeping me on track. It's like, oh, I'm going to show you where your gap is so that you can start to achieve that goal, right? It's almost like a
Right.
trick where your mind thinks like, I'm keeping you on track so that you don't lose your focus, when in fact it's
Yes.
coming in to steal from me the beauty, the magic of
Yeah.
like just enjoying the cuddles of my daughter, or watching the sunrise, or enjoying this time with the three of you. So Kim,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah.
unmute you.
I think it's better now, I think. Is it
Okay,
better? Is
okay,
there feedback?
Yeah.
Is it
you
good?
sound good right
I
now.
mean,
You
it's
know
good.
what? Yeah, I love that. I love that too because people talk about distractions, and so yesterday I was sharing with the group that yeah, a lot of people don't even know what people mean when they say distractions, right? And so I love it when you put the context in there of what if it's like a thief trying to steal your happy and your joy and anything that takes you out of who you truly are and connecting with self. Yeah, that's all distractions. That's all distractions. That distracts us from our God self, our goddess self, whatever, whatever the universe it is within, whatever you want to call that. But yeah, to put it in the context of, yeah, it's like a thief trying to steal my peace, trying to steal my joy.
Yeah.
Get, now you just get. And I love that. I think it kind of puts it in a different framework that people can really get in a different way. Because, like I said, when I was teaching this class yesterday, I said, do you know what people mean when they use the word distractions? Most of them were like, no. I was like, okay,
No.
is this what they mean? But yeah, the word thief in there is beautiful. Thank you. And Veronica, you putting it into context, how you see it, it's stealing you. That's so good.
Yeah, yeah. I like how you visualize things. I think
Yeah.
you should be visualizing the bird. That's beautiful. It's beautifully visualized. And I think I'll just add a little bit more to it and how I realized more the fact that it's becoming a thief of my own reality is because obviously having a twin sister, it was a very big, so you're like constantly compared no matter what you do, it's just like your ability, your height, your body, everything is just constantly compared to each other.
Wow.
In not in a negative way, but it's just like people can't help to
Yeah.
by judging. Oh, do you do both do the same things? How do you do it, and how do you do it? My parents did that. My uh, extended family, everybody, and the ability was compared constantly, which also got to a point where we were like, we could have compared our life, but very soon in life we realized that we shouldn't be comparing. We are like great in our own ability, and we were always a contrast. So we were always taking our own ability forward, and we were never comparing ourselves and our achievements amongst ourselves. And that got me to realize that today, if you actually on paper compare her ability, her job, her family, she's having a kid, and everything, um, I could sit back and just cry. Or I could be like, hey, listen, I wrote a book. I have an amazing life. I also have an amazing job. We both look amazing. So there's nothing, it's very different crafting, and I'm very happy. We both have different journey. And there is no time in life where I have thought that, oh, why is my life not like her life? It's my life. This is my achievements are my achievements, and I do not want to compare it. I don't want to sit a moment to compare it to her. In fact, if I can be inspired but not compared at any given point. So yeah,
Ooh, I
it
love
got
that.
me like, yeah.
Yeah, be inspired instead of compared. That's great right
Yeah.
there. Boom.
And
It's
inspired will when you're inspired by a person and you look at like I'm inspired by Veronica all the time as how beautiful of a mother she is. And, you know, my
Mm.
sister also talks about the same thing. And it's not like, oh, we're jealous of how amazing the mother she is, but it's like, I want to be like, I want to learn and take like, you know, one or two lifestyle changes, what Veronica does, so that I can be that mother and she can be that mother, you know, so we can be inspired, but like, there's no reason of people being like extremely negative about it.
well, I'm surprised. I'm inspired by your wardrobe all the time. I'm like, why can't I dress like you? Why can't I look like
Oh my
you?
God.
So shifted to inspiration. I love that, and thank you for the honoring. Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Sana. I feel like we could have many parts to this. Like, there's so much more wisdom in your book that I would love to unravel in future episodes if you're willing to hop on with us
Yeah,
again. I think
I'll
that
be happy.
your stories are really deep and really interesting, and the fact that you've been able to lead yourself through them, extract the wisdom, be with the emotions, honor the life circumstances, but also find that acceptance is so key for so many people. And the comparison thing, I think we could really go deep with it. So thank you for being here. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
And as always, we want to invite everyone to share, like, subscribe, comment, all the things. If you think this episode could be a benefit to anyone please pass it along. So we appreciate all the love. Kim, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, where can people get your book? How can people find your book and find you?
Yeah. So if finding me is available, like I'm on Instagram, TikTok, but I'm also the book is available on Amazon.
Nice.
So if you feel like having a copy and like people like to, I know some people really love reading the book with hard copies, so you can read the book. So like you can have a copy from Amazon, or it's also on Kindle, so you can read it. Yeah,
Oh,
on
thank
Amazon.
you.
We'll put all the links to find
Cool.
Sana with this
Thank you,
episode. So
ladies.
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Until
Awesome.
next time.
Much love.